Let's at least give it a kick to see if we can put things into action. Okay, it looks like we're on. Hey. So, yes, it seems to be on so far, but unfortunately we are down a member tonight, as Mark has stated, so we are without our tactical officer, which, considering last time he wanted to blow everything up, is probably a good thing, actually. But we are currently down our engineer and our captain, so we're going to have to wait around for them for a minute or two, I am afraid.
Yeah, I'm not the engineer this time. I'm the completely sane doctor and science officer.
See, it's whenever you say stuff like that. Go on, sorry.
I don't know if sane science and doctor works well with Klingons.
So are we suggesting that a Klingon has to be slightly doolally in order to be even interested in the sciences?
Based on their culture, yes.
Good answer.
Dr. Oketha is completely normal for a Klingon doctor and science officer.
See, you forget, Matt. Hopkins' mom was a science officer.
Yeah.
And look how well that worked out for her.
Yeah, engineer kind of person. Yes, I remember now. Aha! I'm so glad other people pay attention to my plot drops.
that was my third reprimand, by the way.
Which was your third reprimand?
Tavish, the one I just got.
Oh, yes, that's the third time you've misbehaved, yes, pardon me.
I am surprised Bonnie hasn't gotten one.
Well, to be fair to you, even though so far you have tried doing the whole bungee jumping without a cord thing that the other two did last time, you at least had the sense to look where you were going first.
Oh wait, I do have a reprimand. Just one, though.
Yes.
I forgot what I had. I got that one for her.
That was a general mission failure that everybody got, if you recall.
Oh, yep. That's the one that we kind of... Mission success versus a crew of a Klingon ship that we knew.
Oh, no, then I've had 4.
Let me just state quickly, it's not a competition. Oh man, I've had 4 reprimands. Haha, check me out.
Hold on. Sorry, Liz, I just want to ask one question. Have I had the most reprimands in either game? In both the Combs and
that's an interesting question. I would say at this point you're about even, but that does mean that you're ahead of the curve.
So, quick question, and well, this is a guess. Is it Nova?
Well, who else is it going to be? The one character who the player said under no circumstances am I ever getting promoted, and I don't want my character's reliability to be 3 or above.
Damn.
Yeah.
But I'm honestly surprised that Bonnie didn't get a reprimand for. You know what? Screw the torpedoes and the phasers.
Ramming
We're
speed?
using the ship. Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't get a reprimand for that.
Well, ramming speed is really a fatal thing unless you're a Jem'Hadar on a suicide attack run.
Hold on. I've got to message somebody.
You've got to message somebody? Oh, are you gloating?
No, I'm asking them.
I thought you were going to go there and hey, guess who's already got four reprimands and I'm only 27 episodes in. Jeez. This is what I have to deal with, folks. Not that there's anyone here to actually...
Now, if Hopkins was still a part of the Combs,
yeah,
he
well,
would have
be
so much.
Wouldn't it?
She would have had so many reprimands. Especially that one mission where they had to fight Sobek. She would have probably ordered the Combs to do anything necessary to get him back. And then when they hijacked or broken the decryption, they would have been like, "Oh, the XO ordered it. They're getting their reprimand."
Well, can't speak to that because it didn't happen, did it? So there we are. Hello, Chris.
Ooh. Hi, sorry about the delay. Connie should be on in just a moment as well.
That reminds me. Not that anyone's here.
Okay, I've asked. I've just got to wait for a message now.
You know,
So,
we do like...
We'll be on shortly. That's good. Yes, sorry, Dave. Go on.
I was going to say, we do like competing against one another when it comes to this kind of stuff, by the way.
Yorks. And here's the Connie monster.
Oh, sorry we're late.
Quite alright.
Connie, how was your counselling session with Councillor Sachs?
Nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong at all. I don't know what. I don't know why. Yeah. How did yours go? I think Travis needed a bit more,
Help? Yes.
Yeah.
Entirely possible.
Apparently, I have to come in for another 20 sessions. I have no idea. I have no idea reason why.
I think you have every idea of the reason why, dear boy. Right then, I'm going to quickly shunt us over to the intro video. That'll be all of seconds. We will see you momentarily. Excuse us. Power and glory to the Empire, my fellow warriors. I am MJ the GM, and even though I'm wearing entirely the wrong uniform, I will be your Klingon Games Master for the next couple of hours. With me are the honourable crew of the IKS Do Qe'Bach, as we embark on our not-so-frequent meanderings onto the Klingon side of the whole conflict. So, hopefully folks can remember who they actually are on the Klingon crew. As I stated, we are sadly without our tactical officer, as Mark is not with us at the moment, and so we are going to have to carry on without him. But hopefully he'll be back with us next time. Give me 1 second. Yes. So, let me see. Everybody signed in and happy?
yes, yeah.
Everybody who wants to hear Sirenscape can hear something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Then in that case, I've got one last thing. Christopher, plug your wares.
Hello. Same as usual for me. Got my retro review series having a mosey. Most recent video is the Axis Zero. Somewhat relevant again because they just announced the Axis Zero Director's Cut at the Nintendo Switch 2 launch, not launch, but the announcement that the Axis Zero is back in the news again. Feel free to check that review out. Phoenix Wright is forthcoming, chipping away at it, coming soon, PM.
Nice. Okay then, folks. So, if we recall, this is our rather lovely ship, the Vorcha class attack cruiser, the Do Qe'Bach, a gift from Gowron himself, the supreme leader of the Klingon High Council. Connie is Captain Qe'Bach, and of course we have Liz as Commander Trasa. Dave is our science officer slash medical officer, Dr. Oketha, or Oketha. I will probably slip between both. And Chris is our chief engineer, Lieutenant Shilatha. Mark, who is not here, is Commander Tre'gok, our tactical officer. So, we move along to the bridge, or indeed the ship in general. We also have on the bridge our operations officer, Lieutenant Dos, and Lieutenant Shatran, our chief helm officer. And today is a bit of a special day, as the crew are currently in the mess hall. And when we say mess hall on a Klingon ship, we really mean mess hall. So, today, you have managed to get through a special meal sent to the ship. Whether a thanks from Gowron for your service, or some special dispensation awarded to Captain Qe'Bach himself, it's entirely up to you to decide. But nevertheless, the meal for this special celebration features, as the main entree, targ steaks butchered from a herd procured from a high-end breeder on the planet Nester. Nester is one of the main agricultural worlds on the outer colonies that feeds the outer colonies of the Empire, and therefore you are eating high-quality nosh. Much higher quality in flavour and texture than your usual fare, so this is a very, very nice change of pace from the usual mundane trolling work that Captain Darkran has had you doing as of late. Captain Darkran, if you remember, is a captain who is primarily in charge of giving you your missions, and is the son of a general, General Varoth, who the crew of the Holmes had to contend with because whilst General Varoth was escorting the Combs through Klingon space to Federation space, he tried to pull a fast one, and before the official start of the Klingon Federation war, he tried to take the Combs, but was thwarted in his efforts thanks to the crew of the Combs. So you imagine that's got something to do with the fact that Captain Darkran, who has been put in charge of your missions, why he has it in for you, because Commander Trasa, of course, used to be part of that very crew. Or it's just the fact that Darkran, coming from a noble house, a high-ranking house, who have been nobility within the Empire for a long time, like a lot of Klingon snobs, doesn't like the fact that your current house, House Krell, is doing so well for itself. Because yours was previously a middle-tier house that is currently on the ascension. And it's been no secret that a good many nobles like those of House Varoth do not like the fact that lower and mid-tier houses are coming up through the Empire. It's that whole snobbish thing of people of lower status need to be kept in the same status they're at, otherwise they get ideas above their station. So as a result, the crew of the Do Qe'Bach have been somewhat bored with being kept out of the majority of the fighting against the Federation, especially because you are kitted out with this wonderful shiny ship. So the fact that you've now got some premium quality food is a rather welcome distraction. Naturally, once food and drink starts getting imbibed by a Klingon crew, things inevitably start getting loud on a Klingon ship. And when things start getting loud and people start getting jovial, fights inevitably start breaking out, whether as good-natured ones or slightly less good-natured ones. So, what are you guys up to with this lovely, lovely repast? Swapping stories? What are you doing? What would you like to be up to during this particular scene, since you've got some time to relax and work off some steam?
In my expert animal rearing opinion, this meat is really good.
It is fantastically good. One of the junior officers, though, comes up and says, "Are you crazy, Doctor? I've had better meat than this on a cargo hauler."
Can I punch them in the nose, please?
Absolutely, you can. With the bionic arm or the regular fist?
The regular fist.
Okay. You don't want it to be unfair. Gotcha.
No.
Being the ship's doctor, you know exactly where to hit a Klingon in order to break the cartilage on the nose rather than causing any facial fractures. So, enough to hurt him and make him have to go see you at sickbay later, but not enough to cause any serious injury. Absolutely, you floor him. He goes down to the deck, clutching his nose as blood is gushing from his nostrils.
As I said to you, in my expert animal rearing opinion.
Nice. Trasa, there are a pair of junior officers disagreeing over who should have the last in the barrel of blood wine. One of them thinks it's him, the other one thinks it's her. They're both getting into a tussle. It looks like they're about to bump into the barrel and spill it.
Trasa's just gonna grab both of them, move them out of the way, and then grab the last little bit for herself.
Nice. Grabbing them by the collar, by the ear, by the hair, by the nose. What do you want to do?
Whatever she could get her hands on to move them out of the way.
Come with me. And yes, I imagine she's taking the flagon from one of them, or is she just using her own?
Oh, she's using her own.
Okay. There's a moment where one or both of them consider rushing Trasa to stop her from getting at the blood wine, but a look from the captain persuades them otherwise. Captain, you're at the head of the table. Everybody's eating very nicely. Someone is looking to try and take the little bit of targ meat from the plate nearest yours.
I'm gonna stab that targ down into the table. Just get him off.
The whole table shakes as the captain stakes his claim on the, steak.
I do a grumble, but other than that, I'm just there to watch the show that my subordinates have for me in their little fights and big fights. Little and big fights.
Little and big fights. Let's see. Who do we think is the most musical member of the crew?
Definitely Commander Tre'gok. Is it Tre'gok?
You think? Lead by example, mechanical engineering, unyielding.
Yeah, definitely musical.
We are Klingons, therefore we endure. I am the steel on which all things break. Yeah, why not?
Those just sound like Klingon anthems anyway.
Yeah, they really do.
So he's singing his own theme song. Right, I got you. The I Am So Great song. Excellent. Okay. So Commander Tre'gok, because Mark is not here to protest otherwise, starts leading the crew in a rousing battle song, which extols the glories of House Krell at the expense of House Vroth. Nice. Anybody else want to get up to anything else particularly during this rather lovely little break in the monotony of your patrols?
I'm gonna grab a load of meat. I can't remember what the meat's name is.
It's Targ meat, so...
Alright, I'm gonna grab a load of targ meat, and I'm going to slam it in front of Commander Trasa, and go, you need to put on some more weight. Those Starfleet people have not been feeding you properly, in my
Right.
expert medical opinion.
Trasa? You've just been given a plate full of meat and said that you're looking a bit skinny. Liz, you with us? Okay.
It was still fun while it lasted.
I love that. You're not being fed well enough. Get some more meat on you. I like it.
Yep,
I like
yep.
it. I like it a lot.
Tries
Okay.
to. I've got an idea if Trasa tries to say anything.
So far, not so much, but
No.
I have noticed that there is a momentary break in Liz's Twitch connection, so she might be having troubles.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, sorry, go on.
I cannot see Chris
No,
in the game.
I am here. Oh, hang.
that's a good point. Oh no, Liz is there still.
Yeah, this is the.
I
Occasionally,
beg your
the
pardon.
link
For some
with
reason my,
Foundry does go up and down, so you should be fine.
Yeah, for some reason my tab had closed. Sorry about that.
Ah, I see.
Logging back in
So,
now.
so what about Hopkins?
Oh, yes.
There we go. I'm back.
There we go, cool. Dr. Oketha insists that Trasa needs to eat more meat because she wasn't eating properly whilst in Starfleet. You're looking a bit thin.
I've just slammed some targ meat right in front of you, on the table.
She'll bite the dog meat and then punch you with the other fist.
That's good.
Dr.
Captain
Oketha
Jack
judges her
yes.
muscle mass based on how hard she hit. Sorry, what was that, Connie?
Captain K'Bach is loving this. Like dinner and a show. Yes.
Well, unfortunately, it might be coming to an end as an alert beep sounds from a nearby communication console. Bridge to Captain K'Bach. We have an incoming communication.
Patch it through.
Okay, let me see then. Do.
Hold on. Is there gonna? If this has been patched through in
Yep.
the mess hall, yeah.
Yep.
Is the person? Is this gonna be like a video thing? Because if so, that's gonna be a lot of fights in the background. I'd be very like, hey, what's happening there?
This is a Klingon ship.
It'd be
And
weird
the-
if they weren't fighting.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's strangely peaceful in the background there, Captain. What kind of ship are you running here? That was my that was my Gowron impression almost.
I think he's quite good.
I
Yeah.
could do better. But nevertheless, our communication comes through and you are most distressed to recognize the voice of Captain Darkran on the other side of the communications line.
What is it?
K'Bach, you worm! I have a mission for you. We've recently received a call for aid from the captain of the scout ship IuSpet. Apparently they've discovered a rogue asteroid on a collision path with Nesteg. Nesteg, as I am sure, in your commoner knowledge, is responsible for filling the bellies of those inhabiting the Empire's outer regions. The IuSpet's commander has been stymied, apparently, in her feeble efforts to surmount this threat to our food supplies. And there are reports that several of her crew have fallen in their attempts to divert or destroy this simple object. Failure to best such a seemingly trivial challenge... Ugh. Even though I know of no whispers of weakness or cowardice on the part of the IuSpet's commander and crew, confounds me how a Klingon could fail in such a manner. But since either the metal of this ship's complement has fallen sharply, or there is more afoot here than a simple large rock, I am sure you and your simpletons of a crew can try and alleviate a simple situation with a rock. Rendezvous with the IuSpet. You will have about a day to prevent Nesteg destruction. Whatever has hindered the IuSpet's effort, the task falls to you now. Do not fail. And abruptly, he signs out.
I nearly did something then. I'm glad I didn't.
Captain Qe'Bach would like to tell his crew, yes, only a simple captain would know what a simple task is. Basically, takes one to know one.
Good Captain Qe'Bach.
Got him.
But I would classify him as a simple captain. Maybe an incompetent one at that, but not a simple one.
There's a moment where it's a case of, are you challenging our commander's competency? Good. I was hoping somebody would. All right. So you have got your mission. Now, as far as you are aware, the Nesteg, pardon me, not the Nesteg, that's the name of the ship you're after is the IuSpet. Nesteg is the name of the planet. And you can find it in the Buruk star system. Apparently Nesteg is the 5th of 11 planets orbiting its white dwarf star. And yes, it is one of those planets whose job it is to feed the outer colonies. So any interruption in the food supply would probably be a bad thing, especially since you are still on a war footing. So, unless the captain or the commanding crew have anything else they want to say to the crew, whilst the remainder of the crew, whilst you're still in the mess hall.
Captain, I will check out what this planet is like before we get there and see if we've got any information.
Okay. Let's see then. Pretty much everything I have just stated appears to be the information that you have on hand. The IuSpet is a bird of prey class vessel. And apparently the commander of the IuSpet is Commander Kaleic, daughter of Regak.
Captain, the planet's weak. The ship is weak. And I don't know too much about the captain, whether they're weak or not. But
well,
that's my expert opinion.
You can either try and consult the main library computer in order to see if you can find any instances of Commander Kaleic.
Yes, I will.
Let me think then. Well, Depends. Do you want to make a test of it just so you can gain some momentum? Or...
Yes, please, if
Yeah,
that's okay.
Let's see. So, you're looking for personal information. You don't really have a focus for that, but you shouldn't need one. It's almost going to be control and... I'm afraid to say it's going to be control and security. But the difficulty is 0. One success. Alrighty. The information you have on Commander Kaleik. Well, apparently she's a rising star in the Klingon Defense Force, one of the youngest warriors to attain command of a starship. She apparently earned the center seat of the IuSpet after helping to quell a mutiny aboard her previous ship by Duras sympathizers, which was during the Klingon Civil War, the very recent one. She has numerous citations stating that her loyalty to the Empire is ironclad, and her shrewdness and guile in battle belie her age. So everything else... Yes. Standard Klingon warrior, but one who has done a lot for her young age.
Captain, I'll send you over the information on the captain of the bird of prey we're going to. They seem to be a strong captain, and more than likely, you know, a stronger Klingon than most of the Klingons on this ship, not including myself or you, Captain.
Oh, very nice. Trasa, Tre'gok, Shilatha. Oketha is saying that you're weak.
Do you want to spend the rest of this trip in your own sick bay as a patient?
Unless that's an order.
Quiet, crew. Mess time is over. We must go rescue this Klingon captain. A death outside of a war, outside of conflict, will be an honorless death.
Okay. So ordered by the captain, your helm officer, Lieutenant Shatran, sets course and you engage at high warp. Doesn't take you very long to get there. When you do, you find the bird of prey, the IuSpet, on a parallel course and speed with an asteroid. They appear to be maintaining full impulse power just to keep up. Just to give you an idea. The asteroid is a big one and is spinning quite rapidly. Therefore, its speed is quite formidable. The mass and speed and rotation of it would explain to a degree why a bird of prey class ship like the IuSpet would have some trouble. The IuSpet is currently going with its shields down and its weapons are not charged. But you are getting a hail from the IuSpet. I'm assuming you're putting it through, or do you want to do some more investigation first?
Well, that's up to the captain.
Yes, indeed.
Well, let's just put it through.
Okay. With a flick of the view screen, a Klingon woman comes into view. This is Kaleik, daughter of Tre'gok. And I had better get the filter on. Greetings, Do Qe'Bach. Thank you for answering our request for aid. Captain Qe'Bach, it is an honor to meet you at last.
Yes, I know.
The situation with the asteroid is not good. I have lost several of my crew to an attempt to stop the asteroid when they beamed aboard it. We so far have been unable to slow or stop the asteroid, hence why we sent a boarding party. However, we have not heard from the boarding party in some time, and not long after communications were lost, their life signs were also lost to us. At this present moment in time, I confess I am at a loss as to what to do next. Therefore, I requested aid. As such, I am gratified to see that it has been answered. If you have any questions, I would be honored to answer.
I want to ask if there's any interference from the asteroid that is preventing you from detecting the life signs, or you can get through, it's just no life signs at all.
There is some kind of interference that prevented our communications from getting through. At least when we last had communications with our boarding party. That being said, that interference could very well have been generated by whatever it was that ended the life signs of my boarding party. We have no way to determine for sure. If you like, we can start transmitting our last sensor scans of the asteroid if it will help.
That would be helpful.
Captain Qe'Bach, even though Captain Kalayak is being very stoic and answering questions in a very professional manner, you do get you do get a sense that she doesn't know the status of her crew, and she's obviously concerned about her crew's apparent failure to get this job done. And as a new captain, it's entirely possible that she's worried about how this apparent failure may very well reflect on her. But she's trying to keep that hidden beneath a professional, stoic manner. Whether that changes your approach to her at all is entirely up to you. But that's the kind of sense you get.
Okay.
Are there any questions, and not just from the captain, from anybody at all? Any questions the crew would like to ask?
Have you done a scan of the asteroid, and have you done and how long until the asteroid hits the planet?
Everyone good
And
with
an
that
assessment, and an assessment of the damage it would do, though it's kind of obvious.
Everyone good with that series of questions?
Yep.
Cool. The asteroid's external structure somehow diffused the energy output of both our disruptor cannons and our tractor beam emitters, as well as the impacts of photon torpedoes. Prior to beaming onto the asteroid as part of the survey party, my science officer hypothesized that the object's outer shell could account for our weapons' ineffectiveness, but sensors could not match the composition against any mineralogical databases in the Imperial database. to either prove or refute this hypothesis. We analyzed the asteroid for any kind of exploitable weakness, because, as you have rightly pointed out, its mass suggests an apocalyptic catastrophe should the asteroid strike Nuster. It would wipe out the entirety of the planet. Therefore, we have recommended that all civilians and warriors on the planet be evacuated immediately. One thing we did discover, however, was that there appeared to be a network of navigable passageways running throughout the asteroid. So I sent a 6-person survey team in environment suits to determine if the object could be easily diverted or destroyed from within. However, as I stated, minutes after that beam-in, the survey party's communications began to fail, and then shortly thereafter, we lost all sign of our team's positions and life signs. We're even unable to beam their bodies back. We believe that they befell some unforeseen circumstance, or perhaps died of hypoxia from the depletion of their suit's air supplies. I do not know what else to do. I have considered beaming photon torpedoes on into the passageway and remotely detonating them. However, our simulations of the blast showed a high probability that fragments of the object would prove just as destructive as if the object itself landed, causing the very cataclysm we're seeking to prevent.
Captain, would you mind sending me the science data you have on that you have gathered?
She gives a curt nod and makes a signal to one of her crew members behind her. Not long after that, Dr. Oketha can confirm that there is a tight beam transmission sending you all the data that they have so far accrued.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to harbor a question? Okay. With all the information we have given you, Captain Qe'Bach, I must ask, do you have any plans of what to do next?
We will overlook your science data, and we will conduct our own investigation. In due time, we will get in touch.
Captain, if I might make an honorable request, I would seek to beam myself over to your ship and assist in the investigation as best I can. I need to know what happened to my crew members.
You are permitted to beam aboard.
My thanks, Captain Qe'Bach. I shall be on board shortly. Kalayak out. At which point, she ceases transmission. And it'll be a few minutes at least before Kalayak finds her way onto the Do Qe'Bach. Now, in the meantime, what would you like to do?
Yep. Go on, Connie.
I'm just thinking, Captain Qe'Bach will tell the crew how he feels about her. She's got a tough exterior, but she's sort of just barely holding herself up, is what I'll say. Perhaps we need a strategy on how we'll deal with her, as in how we'll engage with her.
Did she used to be part of Starfleet too?
I think that she's just a greenhorn, right? And she's got herself into deep. So
This-
either as...
Yeah, this does appear to be her first time in overall command of a ship.
So watch out if she makes any... So keep her calm. Reassure her if need be. Not very Klingon. but also make sure, in her desperation, she doesn't fly off the handle, shall we say.
So keep her away from our very talkative doctor,
Yes.
who keeps this up, may find themselves with a few broken bones.
Is that an order?
I think it's called a threat, dear boy, but
It's what I would call a promise.
Yes, Commander.
okay. It's not long before the sound of the main bridge doors opening before Captain Kaleik finds her way on board.
I did notice.
She is happy to stand by for the moment and watch, but she has a very... What's the phrase I'm looking for? She's standing at attention, but she's also bouncing slightly on the balls of her feet. She's got her hands behind her as if she's giving the outer veneer that she's relaxed, but anyone who sees her hands behind her can see that they're clenched very tightly. So she's keen to get on with something. So, you have a rogue asteroid about to collide within about a standard day's time with one of the major agricultural supply chains of the outer colonies of the Empire. What would you like to do?
Can I have a look over... First of all, have a look over that science data. Second of all, can I also check the impact this asteroid is having on the planet so far?
Okay.
As well.
Let's see then. Can I then get a reason and science task from the doctor? And I'm going to have to bring this on here in order to make this easier. So don't be too alarmed when you see a ship suddenly appear in the middle of the bridge.
Quick question.
Let me lower this
for this
size down.
role. Would I be able to use astrophysics for this?
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm keeping the Do Qe'Bach token here as a handy-dandy way of having the ship help, which means that, Chris, if I could get you to be the Do Qe'Bach.
Yep.
From the Do Qe'Bach, I am looking for sensors and science, and remember that the ship counts as having a focus. And from the Doctor, I am looking for reason and science. Difficulty...
Cool.
1, actually. Ooh, there we are. So you've already got 1. But we've got a complication from Dr. Oketha, but we do get successes. Okay. All right. Okay, so what you get from the sensor, and analyzing the sensor readings of the IuSpet is, yeah, the composition of the asteroid's outer shell does appear to be made out of some kind of mineral that doesn't match anything in the database. But it does also confirm that there is a number of chambers inside of this. Why can I not share this? Here we go. So let's see, all players. Show image only. Yep. So hopefully you should get an image pop up in front of you now.
Yes.
Yep.
So This is what they have managed, the IuSpet managed to scan as far as interior spaces are concerned on the asteroid.
Can I ask the captain, not our captain, but the other captain, I can't remember her name.
She's right by here, Kalaic.
Blake, can I ask her a question?
Of course.
Seeing this data.
It might go against Commander Trasa's recommendation that the new young captain shouldn't talk to the doctor.
It's fine. I don't think it was an order, so I'm going to ask the captain the middle part of. So I don't know if you can see it on your screen. Where I am now, where I've got my mouse. I don't know if you can see it, Matt.
Bidoop. Are you referring to the image that I just popped up in front of everybody?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I cannot see anything in regards to where you are pointing on an image, I'm afraid, no.
So I'm talking about the middle where it's got the 6
Like, tablet-shaped things going on.
yes. I wanted to ask if they managed to get any more information, seeing as there are what looks like the 6 tablets with what seems to be something right next to them. Are they some kind of status pods or something like that?
Okay.
Seeing that they're in the middle, this would also seem to be. It doesn't look natural. So, and with the stuff inside, this looks more like a station or a vessel than it does a proper asteroid.
Interesting. Captain Kalaic will state, our sensor readings didn't indicate anything. We have no way of knowing for certain whether those are stasis pods or just some kind of cavity within the asteroid. Like I said, we were unable to determine much before we lost communications, and our sensors could not detect anyone or anything inside. At least without going there ourselves.
Captain,
Which one?
Connie.
Yes, Doctor.
I do suggest that we probably send a away team down there.
Yeah,
And
it's
have
looking like it.
and have Commander Trasa lead it.
I think we should corroborate their scientific data first with our own scans.
I will do those scans immediately, sir.
That's pretty much what the last check was all about, confirming yours versus theirs. The result of the complication, well, you'll just have to find out now, won't you?
That's fine.
But as far as your sensors can tell, yes, you can corroborate everything the IuSpet's sensors did collect. The mineral is unknown. There are spaces within. What those spaces are and what they're comprised of, you have no idea.
As this is our scientific data, Captain, pretty much lines up with theirs. So we were not going to get any more information out, and with time not on our side, Captain, I honestly feel like a away team would get us the best amount of information.
Okay. Let us go then.
Alright then. Captain Klingon steps forward and says, I wish to accompany the away team. I need to see what happened to my crew.
As you wish.
Thank you, Captain. So who else is going on this away mission then? I mean, I'm going to assume the primary characters, but you don't have to if you don't want to. But having somebody down there would be a good idea.
I was going to say, having all the primary characters down there is a good idea.
If the captain wishes to go, then your operations officer, Lieutenant Doss, is fully able to take charge while you're gone. Or if you don't want to take your your tactical officer, Commander Tre'gok, he can be left in charge as well. But
the captain's very hands-on, so
yeah,
he'll go as well.
Cool. I expected as much. And you're more than likely going to want an engineer and a scientist, so it would make sense for Shilatha and Oketha to go as well.
Of course.
You probably won't need your helm officer, so this group configuration does actually make a lot of sense. So, groovy. Alright then, let's get everybody in a nice little cluster so I can have you all arranged in transporter fashion. Ready to jump down to the planet. But before I do that, let's just make a little change here. So I notice some people have got their names up always. It's better. So let's have Youth 5 now. Right, here's a question. Where are you transporting to? There are a number of cavities. Where would you like to go?
Group decision?
I mean, do you need me to open the image again for you to see?
Oh no, mine's
Yeah.
still up.
No, I closed mine.
I'll
I
throw it
also
open
closed mine.
one more time for you all to see.
I believe to probably the far right.
Far
That's
right.
what I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good start. Also, you know, it also just gives us better access into the structure as well. Actually, no. I think right at the bottom, the one with the circle with the little bumps on it.
Like the green with the green circle with the spokes on it, kind of thing.
Yes, yeah,
I got
because it gives us access to pretty much everywhere then.
So, what do folks think? The very, very
Yeah, for me.
rightmost or the very, very bottommost?
I think anywhere that looks the most like a control center.
Mm-hmm.
So, are we going with Dave's recommendation, or are we going for the bigger chamber as before?
Oh yeah. Actually, the bigger chamber would probably be better. Actually, the rightmost one. Sorry, I'm changing my mind. Yeah, the far rightmost one.
As long as you don't change your mind halfway through the beaming process.
Yeah.
Wait!
Yeah, because there's more. There's more room for us in there, and
Liz, what's your opinion?
I agree with everyone. Looks like a command center, because that's probably the best place to go.
Okay. Alrighty. We will go with that then. So let me give you a beam down into that area. Let's also change the ambience a bit as we go into the asteroid. So actually, I need to do this one. Alright, so activating the transporter. Oh, that's a good point. Equipment, before we go. Equipment, what you taking?
EV suits.
Right. That's
We're
the most,
Klingons!
that's the most
No.
important one.
EV suits just for the simple fact that we're not going to be able to breathe. You know, I know as Klingons are, you know, mightily hard, but in my expert medical opinion, you know,
Yeah.
breathing's essential to Klingons. If you can believe that. I know it's a bit of a conspiracy theory, but we do need oxygen.
So yeah, if you look under character armor, you will find, under 2nd edition in items, you will find environment suits. And any other equipment you think you might want to take.
I had a load of equipment on me. Just one moment.
Yep, so you've got an environment suit, you got your medical kit for the most part, and a pattern enhancer from last time.
The regenerator, emergency surgical kit, hyper spray, laser scalpel, medical monitoring device, pattern. Don't need a pattern enhancer, do I? Actually, no. Taking a pattern enhancer.
I think we should.
Yeah, because of if we need to beam off quickly and we're struggling to beam off. Is there anything else we need?
Grav sled?
What was that, sorry, Liz?
The gravity sled? You know, just in case we find the other crew, we can just pile them on the grav sled.
Yeah, okay, good point.
Yeah, that is actually.
Pack lunch.
Take some of the targ steaks to go.
Cucumber sandwiches, please.
Which would be a bit difficult in EVA suits, but there we go. That's just me. I'm obviously not creative enough.
Do Klingon EVA suits have like a built-in communicator?
Should do.
That doesn't rely on subspace stuff. Okay.
It doesn't rely on subspace stuff. I think you'll find all communicators rely on subspace in some fashion or other.
And this is gift gaff. Other plans are available.
Well, what's that recent
the
one?
Klingon Empire. The Klingon Empire, sponsored by GIFCAF.
I don't know, for some reason, why do I think it should be sponsored by that one that Trump and his aides had a big gaffe with using recently? Signal!
Oh,
that
you
was
mean
it.
Signal? Yeah, Signal.
How about we use that? That's secure, right?
The Klingon Empire, sponsored by Signal.
I'm just lucky I didn't have to do OPSEC again because of that.
She speaks from experience.
Do we need... I think is it a spectrometer? To find out what this asteroid is actually made out of.
Good question. What do you think?
Is it a spectrometer?
Yeah, mass spectrometer, you know. Find out.
Mass do I need to take that? Seeing as I'm the science
Well, I was going to say, you know, either the engineer Shilatha or Oketha, or both, would be good ideas with that kind of stuff.
I've got a load of stuff on me.
She's carrying all sorts of packs and slings and bags.
Can our engineer take it, please?
Sure thing.
Help carry some of the load.
Thank you, Chris. I've never had this many items on a character before.
Oketha's running out of hands, yes.
The captain is bringing on an audio receiver, just to be sure.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, very good, very good.
But it takes one opportunity.
That's only if we don't think it's essential to the mission. I would say because you have lost communications, potentially, depending on the situation, then some kind of communication device would likely be useful.
Nice.
So the opportunity cost can be waived for this particular mission.
Nice.
Oh my god, I've got every single medical device.
Yeah,
You're the doctor. Oh.
that's what they do.
All right. Do we need a universal translator? Can't.
If they
No.
don't speak Klingon, they should learn.
Yeah. Do we need a pad? PADD.
I don't know. Do you think you need a pad?
What's on
A
the
data
pad?
What's on? Depends what's on the pad. Yeah, that's a good point. Is
No.
it just your personal correspondence? Or...
Yeah, that's not just going about her personal correspondence while on a mission.
Oh, here's one from Cousin Jalak. Ah, haven't spoken to her in ages.
I remember that time where she dissected a. I can't think of something, but I'll think of something.
Say
are
a
we taking
Klingon
audio?
bull toad.
Yeah. Are we all taking audio receivers?
Well, the captain at the very least wants one, so he can stay in contact with the ship potentially. But it's up to the rest of you.
Seeing as it's going in my ear, I'll be good. I'm good with taking that.
You need to give me my card first.
Who's got the anti-grav sled?
Good question.
You're
Not
second in command.
me.
Who's taking the anti-grav sled?
Me.
Okay.
I can't see anything else we need, but can anybody else?
Give you just one more moment to look through the item lists.
Nope, not that I can think of. We got our anti-grav sled.
That's all we need.
I was just about to say that. That's all we need. An anti-grav sled for every
Everything
single
else
mission.
is circumstantial.
For every single mission.
All right. All right. We good with that? Okay. Then, fully clad in your EV suits with the equipment you wish to take with you, you go down to the transporter bay. Captain Kaleic is also dressed in a EV suit and is keen to come along. And so, energizing. Let's go to the asteroid. So, we are here. What do we see? Let me just make sure. Need to turn off the bridge ambience. Yep, done. Right. You find yourselves in a dimly lit interior. You're surrounded by translucent crystalline walls that pulsate with a dim blue glow. The only illumination afforded to you apart from the light beacons mounted on your EV suits. The interior space is fitted with what looked like metallic support structures. The kind of thing that you would see supporting a mine shaft. But the metal appears to be ornately shaped, as though crafted as much for artistic value as well as practical. Fitted to the superstructure at various points along the walls are a variety of ovoid consoles and monitors, similar to the kind of interfaces you use, but all of which appear to be blank at the moment you arrive. You are currently in... which chamber? This one. Okay. A number of crystalline spires attached to a horizontally arrayed series of 5 large red-hued crystals embedded in the walls reach out. So as you can see, yeah, And here, the crystals trail out from the walls in order to meet with the main clusters here, but arrayed on the wall that they erupt out of are a number of horizontally arrayed 5 large red-hued crystals. They're about 5 meters in diameter, also emit a pulsating glow, but at a much slower rhythm and a dimmer intensity than the spires emitting light from the walls. There are 2 larger translucent crystals mounted into this same wall, one above the array of red crystals, one below. And of course, of note, especially as soon as she notices, Captain Kaleik breaks from formation and rushes up to the prone form of a Klingon warrior in an EV suit, lying prone upon the floor.
With a smug face of superiority, because, you know, she's right. Dr. Oketha will go over to the Klingon, the prone Klingon. Oh, I'm taking everybody. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. There you go.
That's alright.
We'll go over and check on the Klingon and do some medical stuff.
Okay. So. So the Klingon is lying upon the floor as though they'd collapsed where they stood. Their helmet lying not far away. Their face appears to be drenched in sweat, their eyes staring half-lidded into space. Any attempt you use to engage them in dialogue is lost upon them as they weakly utter the same 3 words over and over. Link, failure, reattempt. Link, failure, reattempt. You then realize that you can hear other voices elsewhere in the darkness, repeating those same words in a slurred unison. Link, failure, reattempt. Link, failure, reattempt. You're left to ponder what's happened here within this object that now appears to be more than what you expected. To conceive what or who could have laid hardy Klingon warriors low and left them in this state. And so you steel yourselves to face whatever lies within these dark corridors. So, you wanted to do an examination of the Klingon.
Yes, please.
Reason and medicine task, please. Difficulty 3.
I assist.
Sure. If you want to, by you doing command and basically telling Oketha to do her job better.
Yeah.
Take these names.
Oh, I was gonna do the field medicine, but I've got all the equipment.
Do you want to use equipment? Give you a moment to look over your rather extensive list.
I was just going to say, the tricorder, is that a medical tricorder? Or is
Well,
it just
it's a tricorder nonetheless. Use of the
Yeah.
tricorder if you want to use it.
Yeah.
That will
I'll
reduce the
use-
task down to 2.
Yes.
And
I'll
if the
use
captain
the
wants to help, then, yeah, presence and command can assist.
Can I use the focus of medical procedures?
Absolutely
Or
you can.
biology?
Yep. So the captain rolls 1 dice, Dr. Oketha rolls 2. Ooh, very nice.
Uh,
Presence and command, 1 dice. And, well, command is the... Well, ooh, blimey. Okie dokie
Damn.
then. There's some momentum for you right there. Okay. It seems that this Klingon, who is Lieutenant Oketha, according to Captain Kaleik, is almost entirely comatose. They are apparently the senior engineer of the IuSpet crew. What you can tell from a medical examination of her is that her adrenaline levels are severely high, as if she were experiencing extreme physical exertion, despite the fact that she's motionless. Kaleik looks over at Dr. Oketha. Well, what's wrong with her?
At the moment, I haven't the slightest. I would have to do more of an examination, and seeing as that she's not the only one I can actually hear, and there seems to be other voices in the darkness. Having more of them here, so I can examine them properly, would be a would help me out.
Captain Kaleik reaches over and grabs Oketha's EV suit by the collar and drags her so she can see right up into her face. My crew are not rats for you to experiment on.
I am trying to save your crew, Captain, so I suggest you let go of me before you find out exactly what I can do, not just as a medical officer, but as a Klingon too.
She grinds her teeth for a moment or two, but then lets go.
I will try and save your crew. I am a doctor. I am not some Starfleet. I do not experiment. I make warriors fight and make them stronger. If I can save this warrior, I will. But the more information I have, the better I can treat them. Have I made myself clear, Captain?
Crystal, Doctor. Just remember, I outrank you.
Yes. Captain. I really need to stop antagonizing everything.
Yeah, because the second you get done talking with her, you get a smack in the back of the head.
Or at the very least, a smack in the back of the helmet. Dong!
I am trying. Let me. Commander, Capt. She looks over to Commander Trasa and Captain Qe'Bach, and just goes. The more information I have on what is happening to these warriors, the more I can prevent this happening to us. We have a mission to do.
Yeah. Captain Qe'Bach is going to tell Doctor to find out what she can, but if need be, just you can also have them beam Nakasa to our ship and then let the other members of our crew figure it out as well.
Until I find out exactly what is going on, I do not think it's a good idea to beam any of these to any of our ship.
One thing that does strike you that I should have actually brought up sooner is that you are not detecting life signs. Even though This
They are
Klingon is
talking.
clearly is clearly alive and talking.
What? Yeah. They are talking, yet they have no life signs. I do not think this is. As I said, let me do my work, Captain. And she looks over to Captain
Lake.
Captain Leik and just goes, I will try my best. And my captain will tell you my best is the best in the Klingon Empire.
Nice.
If I can save them, I will.
Must be a very low bar if you're the best.
Meanwhile, now that we've
Well.
got Chris back, Shilatha notices that her fellow from the IuSpet is carrying equipment that looks somewhat different to what you guys are carrying. Closer inspection by your chief engineer, Shilatha, will show that Oketha was carrying what looked like explosives, a case of 6 explosive devices and attached detonators. So, what would you like to do?
Ask Captain Kalaic, what are these? What is the purpose of these explosives?
The purpose of these explosives, Captain, was obvious. I sent this team inside of the asteroid in order to determine if there was a way from destroying it from the inside. That is why Oketha brought explosives. It looks like she didn't even get the chance to deploy them. You suggesting something here, Captain Qe'Bach?
Okay. Not at all. Not at all. Let us find more of your crew. But secretly, he's gonna give a look to the rest of his own crew, as if to be on guard and alert.
Captain, I'm going to stay here with my patient. If I find any, if I find anything out, I will let all of you know.
Doodly 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 doo. Chris. Shilatha's
Hello.
rather fascinated by the crystals embedded in the back wall of this particular chamber. Can I get you to give me a reason and engineering check?
Reason engineering. Back.
Okay, that's fine. So you don't get any extra information, but what you can seem to discern here is that the 2 larger translucent crystals mounted on the back wall, one above the red crystals and one below, one of them appears to contain some kind of chemical compound, but the other one, to your surprise, appears to contain a supply of antimatter. Now this is surprising because typically antimatter requires magnetic containment fields in order to be able to be stored safely. Otherwise it makes contact with matter and then kaboom. However, there's no evidence of any kind of magnetic containment field keeping this antimatter in there. Merely the crystalline container in which it's, well, contained. It doesn't appear to have any power whatsoever, so somehow the composition of this crystal is containing the antimatter without triggering the annihilation reaction. You are unaware of anything that could possibly do this. However, The presence of antimatter should suggest something. Which I hope I don't need to spell out, but if you need me to, I will.
That this is an actual ship.
Thank you. And so, what would you like to do? I know Dr. Oketha wants to remain with the patient. The rest of you want to continue on and have a look, or examine other parts of the place?
I think we can press on.
Okay, well, you have got corridors north and south. Whichever way you fancy going.
Said north, shall we?
Oh,
North. Right.
North.
Then. So Captain Kaleik will very much be keen to follow.
I'm gonna give a private message. Can I have a private comm with Commander Trasa?
Sure.
Can I, Commander?
What you find, though, is even though you can get through, you also get... So you can.
I didn't get that.
So you can talk, but it's spotty.
Commander, the captain, watch out. Too emotional.
A Klingon who's too emotional. Well, stop the presses.
Expert medical opinion.
Captain, I think our doctor is saying to keep a watch out, and their expert opinion, I'm the greatest there is from Starfleet. In the Klingon Empire besides yourself.
Okay. Yes,
Right.
I will. I'm gonna get all my medical equipment out.
Can anyone else like see when they're moving down these corridors? By the way, because for me, it's just sort of darkness.
Really?
yeah. Darkness, I cannot see.
Interesting, interesting. Why can I see everything? Oh, there we go.
Oh, hello.
So one person's got sight, somebody else doesn't. Let me
Yeah, I
check
think-
what Trasa's...
I think when Trasa moves, it reveals everything.
So you've got vision enabled. Let me...
Here's our
make sure
eyes.
You've got...
I have got
that's
vision
it.
enabled.
Vision is not enabled. Vision is not enabled. So hold on there, Shilatha.
So
we're splitting the party? Okay. Let me help you! There we go. Have I
I haven't
missed?
got vision. Me.
Right. There we go.
There you go.
That's better. Right then. So Shilatha wasn't all the way up there. Shilatha was down here. Okay, cool. So this room that the rest of the group find themselves in. This chamber contains a large crystalline structure consisting of a massive, roughly spherical nucleus, roughly 4 meters in diameter, with an array of crystal spires that extend outward from the nucleus to various points of the chamber. The nucleus and the spires also manifest the same pulsating glow as the walls. There is another member of the IuSpet team lying here, and Captain Kaleik will say it is her science officer, Lieutenant Menard. What would you like to do?
Probably I would be asking Dr. Oketha what she's found so far and have someone examine this person on the floor.
Cool, cool. If anybody wants to try examining, I mean, what's Trasa's... Trasa's only got medicine of 1. You could try
dear.
it. Shilatha's got medicine of 1. I think, if I remember, Oketha's the only one with medicine above 1. Yeah. Yep. 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 So folks can give it a go with reason and medicine, but it seems fairly obvious. Menard is on his back, helmet off, and is muttering the same 3 words. Link failure. Reattempt. Link failure. Reattempt. So, anything more than that? Were you actually what were you actually looking to do, Dave? Further than what you've already done.
So, first of all, I want to put a medical monitoring device onto her.
Okay. No problem.
I also want to look for any insertions into seeing as it's only the helmet which is off. Probably having a look for any insertions into like the neck area or the head.
Like they were injected with something, or they've had something attached to them?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's no problem. You don't find anything. No obvious head trauma, no scars, no small pinpricks to indicate a needle or anything like that. To all intents and purposes, it seems like just fell asleep or some such. Except their eyes are open.
Can I see if when I attach the medical monitoring device, if there is either well, first of all, is there a pulse? Second
Yes,
of all,
there is a pulse.
Cool. So even though I thought they were dead from the I thought they might have been dead from the outside, they're not actually dead. They do have a pulse.
They do. And so the fact that your tricorder reads no life signs...
Yeah, is weird. Can I check on breathing?
Breathing is slow and rhythmic.
Okay. I also want to check another thing. Is there any brain activity? And if so, is there any? Is it normal brain activity, or is there something different about it?
Interesting. Okay, so the symptoms so far that we've suggested, the other group finds on the science officer as well. So, just like this one, there's no evidence of any trauma. They're just apparently asleep, but with their eyes open and just muttering the same 3 words. But attaching the cortical monitors to the patient, you do see that there are signs of... Ooh, would you though? Initially, your tricorder picks up brain activity, but then quickly gets a no signal error.
Okay. Can I do something else then? Can I check, seeing as they're breathing, can I check the atmosphere?
Yes. Your suit reads an actual breathable atmosphere in here, and gravity is Kronosh normal.
Okay. The doctor says, "I'm going to do something, Captain. If you, this is probably overcome.
Yes.
I'm going to do something. I've just Triquarters says that this is a breathable atmosphere. I'm going to take off my helmet. If you don't hear from me in the next 10 seconds, something has gone drastically wrong."
Alright, everyone start counting your Mississippis.
Okay. All right. Oketha is going to take off her helmet.
Yep, she disengages the seal, twists the helmet, it comes off with a hiss, and the air is strange. It's not exactly stale, but it's not clean either. It has a very strange, almost electric scent to it. But other than that, you find that you're able to breathe normally.
Okay.
Nothing else seems to happen.
She gets back in touch with the captain and just goes, I've taken the helmet off. I seem to be okay. Do not take your helmets off just yet, Captain. Let me. I will monitor myself as well. There seems to be it's not entirely clean, nor is it stale, but there is something different about it. And I would rather do further investigations into that. Our patient does have and basically just talks about the patient and them having a pulse, them breathing, at least normal-ish, and also saying that they do have a slight brainwave, but you try that the triquarter is not picking it up again. It just keeps on coming up with an error.
So, Captain, with this information,
With this information, I'll say, do as you wish, don't become a liability. Perhaps you should regroup with us.
alrighty. Doctor, the captain has given you a perhaps. It's entirely up to you as to whether or not you want to follow it. As for the rest of you in this room, is there anything you would like to do?
I think we can move on.
Okay.
I'm going to pick up my.
Go on.
I'm going to pick up my medical equipment. At the moment, they seem to be somewhat stable. Is the helmet around?
Yeah, it's around.
Cool. I'm going to put the helmet back on.
You're going to put their helmet back on them, or are you going to wear their helmet? Let me just be absolutely clear here.
I'm putting their helmet back on them.
Right, gotcha. Okay, fine. So you slip the helmet back on, and the lieutenant remains unconscious.
Okay, that's fine. Pick up all my medical equipment, put it away. Just do one kind of last medical kind of thing. Make sure that they are fine before, and they're not going to get any worse before walking off.
Well, at the moment, your instrumentation says that there's no life signs whatsoever, even though you can see there are.
Yeah.
So, gaining any more information out of what you've got so far is...
I already know. Yeah. I'm not going to gain any more, so I'm going to walk off and catch up.
Rejoin the rest of the group. Okay, cool. The rest of you, though, where would you like to go next, if at all? It appears to be
Let's go down.
northeast or south? South. Going down.
Up.
I say south, it's not as if this thing has got... But you know what I mean. Down or up and left. Yeah. Okay.
Matt,
Yeah.
as I get to the lieutenant
Yes.
here, I'm just going to do a quick examination again. Probably get out the medical monitoring device to make sure that they're the same, well, pretty much the same symptoms.
Yep, you get
See if-
exactly the same.
Okay, I'm just going to put their helmet on then.
Yep.
It's not going to be like, it's basically just going to be super fast.
Alright.
I'm keeping my my helmet off, by the way.
That was my next question. Okay.
Yes.
As for Captain Qe'Bach and Commander Trasa, you enter into a room that has a large table with attached seating. Not unlike a table you would find in a galley or a dining hall. There are also a series of containment tanks with what appear to be dispenser nozzles lining the back wall. You can't see it, but obviously they're there. Whatever those containment tanks used to have doesn't appear to be... They appear to have run dry. Nevertheless, there's definitely a table with surrounded seating. No sign of anyone or anything in here, though.
Can I scan the traces of those dispensers and see what kind of material
Sure.
used to come out?
Sure, no problem. Ooh, I've just noticed something. Something that shouldn't be there. Here. Let's try that again. So, what you get is the remnants of whatever was in the dispensers was some kind of fluid nutrient supply.
Any chemical compounds that are usually toxic, or it's just run-of-the-mill basic nutrients?
It would be nutrients that would be required to sustain any base humanoid life form. Unidentifiable what life form that could have been by this particular point in time, but nevertheless, there are all the basic nutrients and minerals and vitamins that would needed for a basic humanoid or living organic life form to sustain itself, or to be sustained, I should say. You're not sure how appetizing it would be. It's basically goop. Nevertheless, Lieutenant Shilatha, unless you're doing anything in particular in the room with the what do they call? What did I say it was? The crystalline nucleus.
No, here I am. Sorry.
Oh, yep. Anything else you would like to do while in this room?
I'm fine.
All right. There's one way back, one way ahead.
Yes.
Gotta go
Just
forward.
press on. Oh. Ah.
All right. So, in this room, obviously, you can see 2 Klingon crew members of the IuSpet slumped over where they... almost like they just fell unconscious right where they stood. Both of them with their helmets off, just like before. This room is dominated by another table with an array of seats circling its perimeter. But this appears to have some kind of display worked into it, as opposed to the other one, which was just a simple table, as far as you could tell. But like all other apparent interfaces that you can see laid into the walls, this display table is also currently inert. The IuSpet crew members that Kaleic identifies would be her first officer, Commander Renara, and the weapons officer, Ensign Tekem. Both of them lying down and uttering the same 3 words. In unison, no less. Kaleic gets up from where she was kneeling beside her comrades. What could have done this to them? Struck down Klingon warriors without so much as a fight. What an utterly insulting and dishonorable way to perish. We need to find out what happened here. I will not have my crew suffer this dishonor. What would you like to do?
If this is the command chamber, can the engineer do some scanning scans
Sure.
to see what's what?
Yes, by all means. Looks like the TARDIS console, doesn't it?
Actually, no, I'm not going to answer that question. For that, you'll have to see other episodes. But, for the meantime, anything particular you want to do then, Shilatha?
Good question. Bit of a mystery, isn't it?
Yes.
Can I just just kind of a look at the device here, see what the sort of purpose of it is?
As far as you can tell, it's some kind of display table. What it displays is not entirely evident, since the whole thing, as I noted, is without power and therefore is not displaying any kind of information whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
But, seeing as the display itself is rather big, wide, and it looks like it's made to be stood around or sat around, it certainly seems to be some kind of central display device. There certainly appear to be interface panels on it, but again, no power means nothing's coming through to give you the information you might need to discern its function.
Yeah, how do we get power? That's the question.
Well, you haven't conducted any scans or anything like that yet, for...
Yeah, so that'll be the way to go, I guess.
Okay. Then, let me see.
Let me see. Would either... It's not plasma power by any chance, is it? Plasma
Well,
power system. Or
let me
system
see.
maintenance and repair. Or
I
heck,
could
even
do,
jury
actually.
rigging.
Let me see now. What did I note before? Yeah, reason and engineering, please.
Cool.
Oh, you already gave me it. Or did you? No, that was before. That was from
No,
6
yes,
minutes ago.
that's the previous one.
A new one, then, please.
Am I able to use any focuses at all?
Yes, focuses. Your power systems one would be
Yes,
useful.
thank you. Well, heck.
Okay. There is evidence of energy. You're not necessarily certain it equates to power. The energy, for the most part, seems to be coming from back in that chamber where you found that central nucleus, where they then had all those crystalline feelers, or whatever you call it, that come out from the central mass. What did it say they were? The spherical nucleus with crystal spires extending outwards. So you are getting a power signature coming from back inside that chamber. Which is slightly odd, because you could have sworn that when the IuSpet's data was given to you, there was no indication of any such energy reading whatsoever inside the asteroid.
All of our external scans have been a bit funky, haven't they? The life science as well.
Well, yes. If you try a life sign check on the characters right here, in fact, you just Trasa just walked past one lying in a corridor. Your tricorders do indicate no life signs whatsoever, even though they are laying on the floor right there in front of you. Trasa, meanwhile, has moved into another chamber. This chamber has a series of similarly sized alcoves recessed into its interior. Each alcove appears to have some kind of reclined bench, almost. Not a bench so much as it is a standing. I suppose bench is the only thing I can think of, but it's reclined slightly back at a 45-degree angle. There are also a storage container at the bottom of each one, containing unrecognizable objects that have long since decayed and been reduced to nothing but scrap. But amidst all the scrap, there is the odd trace of things like something that could have been worn around a wrist or a neck or such. Something that its function appears to be entirely aesthetic. And if Trasa wants to, yes, she can stand upright in it and lean back to the point where it feels like it's some kind of bed. Room enough for one person.
I think I'd like to sort of look towards trying to get the power back on in whatever way, shape, or form. Did you say it was in this chamber? Sorry.
Correct.
Right. Let's have a gander.
Whilst you're doing that, I'm noticing that Trasa's on the wander again. So this room that Trasa finds herself in houses a number of tables of varying sizes, as well as storage containers, which appear to contain various tools and materials of alien design. Among them is a container filled with cylindrical crystal bowls of uniform size.
She'll pick up one of the crystalline balls.
So it's full of some kind of strange material. You can't quite tell what it is from looking at it. Whatever it is, it appears to be inert currently. As for Shilatha, let me see. What was I looking for? Right. I'm checking through my notes a second to see where we can find... Chris wants to do. Right, it's not that. La la la, la 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 la. Ah. So, this is going to be the same thing again. Another reason and engineering task, please. This one, use your warp field dynamics for.
Thank you. Better luck this time. Cool.
Yes, much better luck this time. Noted. Okay. The difficulty was actually 3. You got 2. Okay. What you see is that... where are you? We are in the brain crystal chamber. There are a number of crystals that you notice, crystal spires that erupt directly from the central nucleus and dive straight into the wall by here, which would seem to suggest that it's a direct link to those crystal spires that you saw in the larger room that you first beamed into. So whereas the other spires erupting out of the nucleus seem to go either nowhere or otherwise burrow into the floor of the chamber you're currently in, these ones seem to be specifically reaching out and joining up with whatever's going on in the first chamber that you entered.
Curious.
You
So it's
now
all
have a number of hours remaining before the asteroid gets too close to Naster's gravity well to be able to be pulled off of its course.
Trasa's just gonna grab all 6 of them and just randomly do stuff like place it on one of the on the Klingon in here.
All 6 of what, sorry?
The little balls that were in here.
Oh, so in this place there were a small scattering of... where was that? That was in the lab, that area there. So there is a container filled with not just 6, but a number of cylindrical crystal balls, all of which are of uniform size. So you were looking to do what with them again, sorry?
She's gonna grab the whole box and just like place one on the Klingon at her feet and see if it has any effect.
Okay, yep, nothing happens, I'm sorry.
Picks up it and it just starts walking away. Like, gotta figure out what this does. Stupid wall.
You've just got this crystal, this crystal sphere which has got several looping marks on it with an inert material. You eventually come across the chamber with the nucleus in it that Shilatha is currently looking at.
Oh, it's Shilatha, not the doctor. Okay.
Not the doctor. The doctor is back here along with the captain. In the room where you found the crystal balls.
Yeah.
Who are we missing? Are we missing anybody? No, we're not missing anybody. I'm just being silly.
She's gonna toss one of the crystal things to Shilatha. It's like, hey, what do you make of this?
Ooh, interesting. Alright then.
And she's like carrying the box under one arm.
Can I get Shilatha to try me a control and engineering check this time, please? To use your tricorder to give it a good old scan as to see what this is comprised of.
Can I help?
Success. You can help, absolutely. Not with any of your foci, but you can at least give like a presence and command to suggest certain things.
Good.
Certain courses of investigation. Oh, that was almost a 20, but it rolled back. I felt my heart skip a beat there for a second. All right. This is interesting. Your tricorder reads that it's an inert material with a high amount of conductivity. The material inside the crystal ball has a lot is very similar to the crystal formations that you are seeing, not only lighting the ship, but also erupting out of this nucleus here. But it's in a paste form, almost. A thick, liquidy paste format. If you wanted a rough analogy, almost like repair cement. If that makes any sense.
Curious.
So, what would you like to do? Number of inert Klingons, number of strange rooms in an asteroid that's probably not an asteroid. You wanted to get the power back on. You might not be in the correct room to do it, because everything so far in here seems okay.
What was the significance of, like, down here again? Just to sort of... So this was the display. This is where, like, a lot of the powers come from, presumably.
This looked
What was
like
the
the dining room. The mess hall kind of thing, you think.
Cool. Never mind then. It's a tricky one.
Whereas this room, when
Feels like we're in
you
an
first
escape
beamed
room or
into,
something.
you're not quite sure. So yeah, go on. Sorry, what was that, Chris?
It just feels like we're in an escape room or something.
I know, right?
Have we sort of thoroughly said, like, the power stuff goes in here?
Yes, it definitely looks
oh.
like the crystals that are growing out of the wall and reaching out to the big crystalline formations here seem to almost be connected to what you saw erupting into the walls here, almost as if a long snaking connection has been borrowed into.
What were the comatose Klingons saying?
Yeah, what are the Klingons?
What were they saying? They were saying link, failure, reattempt. And they continue to say it.
Okay. And does the crystals in the box kind of match the crystals here?
Yes, that's what I said. They appear to be made out of the same material, the only difference being that obviously the crystals of themselves are the hardened material, and what's inside of the little bowls appear to be more liquid paste versions. So, with Shilatha and Trasa in this main room, can I get you to give me another reason and engineering task, but this is difficulty 3?
Sure. I'm starting to have a bit of a theory.
I know, same here. And I'm going to attempt to
Ooh, that's
aid.
good.
Good start.
Yep. We just need one more. We got it. All right. You're not sure how you missed it at first, but upon examination of the crystals, you notice that 3 of the crystal spires extending from the wall here, which suggests they're some of the ones that extended from the nucleus in the other chamber, to the portmost red crystals are cracked to the point where they're no longer creating a physical connection.
Gotta patch him up with that crystal glue, huh?
Maybe.
Yeah. I'm just going to look at, like, you think slapping this on will work? And then proceeds to try to do that.
Alright, let's see. The first thing you're going to need to do is to determine the means by which to repair the spire. And then you're going to need a material potentially to bond with the crystalline structure. So the first key task is going to require reason and science. Difficulty 2. This is the means to repair the spire. So
I guess of the two of
expertise.
us, I've got the higher science. But if someone
Yeah,
else,
Yeah.
system maintenance and repair would seem to be a suggested focus here.
cool. Reason
And in
science.
command and presence with inspiration.
Sure, that works for me. Oh, Shilatha. Is it me? You getting a lot of doubles? Double 11, double 15.
Yeah. Not very helpful doubles though, unfortunately.
No, sadly
Not double
not.
ones or anything.
Well, at least they're not the other end of the spectrum.
Very true.
Right. Unfortunately, you're having trouble determining the best means of how you go about repairing this, but everybody else is currently scattered throughout the rest of the ship, so if you want any extra help, you're going to have to call other people here.
I think so. I think this might be the sort of crux of the matter, right? I feel like if we fix this, if we patch this up, then things should be a lot more illuminated going forwards.
So Kalaic, at the very least, is very interested in what's going on here. What have you found? What are you doing with those crystal balls?
Attempting to see if we can't repair these 3 crystals because they're cracked, and
Why?
maybe
Why?
might shed some light on what this is. Also, your crew keeps repeating something about link failure reattempt.
Yes. Something's obviously affecting them. And you think fixing crystals is going to see that?
Though this looks more like a ship than an actual asteroid. So maybe fixing what sounds like the power might let us move the ship out of the way. Or whatever this asteroid is.
That still doesn't answer the question of what happened to my crew. Why are they incapacitated like this? What or who did this to them? Are we sure we should be concentrating on just restoring whatever this is?
Our mission is to save the planet. And if this saves the planet, we accomplish mission.
Are there any signs of like any other type of crew being on this thing at all ever? I'm starting to wonder if like, the asteroid itself is like, sentient.
If it is, you haven't found anything yet. As far as the only things that would seem to suggest occupancy besides the unconscious Klingons is the presence of a table and some nutrient dispensers, not to mention the fact that there are a couple of cubicles this way that somebody could lie down in. So there are definitely some suggestions that this might have been populated at some point in time. Perhaps.
Where they could have gone.
Where have they gone?
And how long have they been gone for?
So, with more folks coming in to help, do we want to try this again, or do we want to try a different tack?
I think we can try this again, right, for the time being.
Captain Qe'Bach is loitering in the in the hallway near to it, whereas Dr. Oketha is busily still looking at one of the fallen IuSpet crew. So, yes, once again, a reason in science at difficulty... what did I say it was? 2. Anyone after the first person to help will cost you 1 momentum to assist. So both Trasa and Captain Qe'Bach can assist if they wish, doing whatever means they need to do so, but one of them can help, or 2 of them can help and cost you a momentum. Or Oketha could help as well, which would cost you momentum for her as well. However you want to do this.
Oh, there's the pesky doctor.
What do you want to be going around helping patients?
Well, by helping you mean seeing that they're exactly the same as the first one, but putting all their helmets back on, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Making them comfortable, at least.
Yes.
Or if not comfortable,
And
at least secure.
Also, I have not experienced any side effects with having the helmet off so far.
Nope, you have not. So then, reason and science from whoever wants to give it to me, and for every person that helps beyond the first, it's going to be momentum. So,
Would you like me to be the main person here?
Yes, I just saw your stats. Yes.
100%.
Are you sure?
does anybody want to help the good doctor?
I'm happy to assist, but yeah, the doctor should be leading this one.
Yeah, I'm happy to assist too, as I inspire and command.
Does the captain want to inspire and command as well? Or are you happy with your first officer doing this?
Yeah, I'll let them sort it out.
Okay, so that's
The captain
one
has-
momentum gone for Trasa.
I am going to use collaboration. Somebody's already rolled.
Oof, Trasa didn't do very good on that. Just put the thing in the thing by the thing.
Okay.
Choose a single
you got
department
it.
when you select this talent. Science! Whenever an ally attempts a task using that department, you may spend a momentum to allow them to use your rating for that department and one of your relevant foci.
Yes. So whoever else is helping out.
And use the science rating of 5 instead.
Yes. So is this a Chris helping out as well?
This is a Chris helping
Yeah,
out.
sure.
So you can use my science by spending 1 momentum.
So
And
what-
one of my focuses.
What you can do then, essentially, Chris, is rather than choosing science, you can tick engineering instead, because that's your 5 rating.
Cool. Yeah, no worries.
It'll be the equivalent of.
I'll take
You know-
momentum off.
Yes, Liz.
You know the sad part? Command is 5.
I know. Oh, and there's
Oh
a
my word.
20. Jeez,
Oh, wow.
Louise.
These
You know,
crystals
it's-
aren't getting picked today.
It's all. I think you are getting picked on today. This is now all down to Dr. Oketha.
What focus? Have I got focus? Quantum mechanics? What
We'll go with
dynamics?
that. We'll go with that, actually, and I won't explain why.
Quantum mechanics.
Quantum mechanics is nice, wibble science.
Oh, hold on. I've got another one. Which is science officer. Oh no, it's fine. That
okay.
says ship sensors. So, okie dokie. Right, let's do this. I've got this.
Fingers crossed. Here we go. She has got it too. Jeez, just about. Irrespective of Foundry's attempts to thwart you, the dice gods being not terribly happy with you, whatever appeasement Dave just offered the dice gods has been accepted at last. Jeez, okay. All right then.
I cursed their name. I mean,
Don't say that! I'm going to blow the place up at this point. All right, so you managed to determine that a mineral of similar properties must be fitted into the gaps, then affixed within the gaps with a molecular bonding agent. So, now you need a second reason and science task to find something that will help with that. What you can try and bond with it. So this is going to be a second reason and science check.
has anybody got any gorilla glue?
But that's a different matter entirely.
No, I mean, I got a disruptor pistol at Earth.
Oh, got it. Has anybody got any more no more nails? No. God damn it.
Right then, so, I don't know, maybe it's worth asking the captain for some assistance on this one, because Shilatha and Trasa seem to be having all kinds of trouble.
So, is it another reason in science again?
Yes, please. Captain Qe'Bach wants to help out this time and point out the flaws in everybody else's plan.
What
Are we wanting to use collaboration on this?
Well, if the captain, if Connie is using Captain Qe'Bach's presence and command, then shouldn't need to.
Alright.
But the option's there if folks want to use it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use my advisor.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh, you can re-roll a d20. That could be quite useful.
Do we want to have another person join as well?
But you got 3 momentum. Do you think it's enough?
Yeah,
Add another
let's
one.
do this.
At this point, honestly.
I believe in Chris.
Oh boy.
You know.
All right.
So yeah, can we have Chris involved as well?
Sure.
And Chris, if you want to take my
It's science. Take my science.
And have I got a focus I can use for this?
Yeah, we were going with quantum mechanics before.
Yeah, so you've got a focus as well, Chris.
Cool. 1 dice. Reason engineering focus. Here we go.
Look at that!
Whoa.
Fortune's reversed.
I'm not rolling again for the rest of the session.
That's it. I think you've reached your peak.
I believed in you, Chris.
And boy,
Thanks,
did it work.
It did, yeah.
All right then. So now we've got only one person left, which would have to be the Doctor. Captain Qe'Bach also very sternly gives everyone a warning as to how best to do things, and it works.
Oh.
Look at those successes. So that's 1, 2, 3 more. You get a full momentum pool back. You changed Trasa's pastime. Well, let's see. You've determined how the matrices can be repaired. All that remains now is obtaining materials and doing the work. It turns out that dilithium is close enough of a substitute that you could use that as a bonding agent.
I've just read Trasa's pastimes, by the way.
So, what would you like to do?
Take it.
Yes, you might need dilithium for that, but where are you going to get it from?
Bird of prey.
Wasn't there antimatter stuff in this room before?
Yes, and technically it's still there. But dilithium and antimatter are 2 very different things. They're part of the same process, but they're separate.
Can we have a look around, see if we can find any dilithium? Seeing as we've got a mass spectrometer as well.
Okay.
Have a look to see if there's any dilithium around.
Can I get Trasa, of all people, to give me insight and... Insight and command will do for now. And I won't tell you how. I won't tell you the difficulty. I just want to see how well you do.
Any focuses?
Any focuses? Yes, but again, I'm going to keep which one to myself in case I give the game away. So you'll be able to roll with a focus. I'm actually going to include Shilatha in this as well, but let's see how Trasa deals with this. Starcross. Cool, so you've doubled your focus range. Cool, yep. That's a good point, actually, Chris. You did say don't push your luck any further, so maybe I shouldn't. That's good. That's good. 3 successes. Nice. Okay. So, even though you determine that dilithium is a close enough substitute for your purposes, the material in the crystal bowls are actually a closer material match. And therefore, if you combine that with what you've learned about the bonding agent and where to fix it all together, they should allow you to be able to do some work and repair the crack in the crystal.
She's just gonna hand the bowl to the doctor. Like, here you go. This is closer.
So this is going to be an extended task. So any folks who have got talents and abilities that enable them to do better with extended tasks, this is where you get to shine. Repairing the crystal matrix is a extended task, going to be done with. Let me see. To effect repairs.
Wouldn't it be engineering?
It would probably be engineering. Control and engineering, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Cool. I can give that a go if you want.
Yep. Remember, anyone
Control,
who helps
engineering.
beyond the first has to contribute a point of momentum, and you've got a full pool.
2 dice. Have I got any sort of... I'm selecting Trasa for some reason.
So I am
right.
assuming now, sorry to interrupt you, Chris, but I am assuming now you are going with the crystal paste.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That actually lowers the difficulty down to... 1 less resistance, actually. So there we are, resistance 0. Go on.
Chris, I do have a high engineering, so if you do want me to help, I can do.
Might be worth it, honestly. Just in
means.
case. Can I use like system maintenance or repair again, or like
Yeah,
power?
yeah, that'll do.
Thank you.
I don't think I've got any focus.
Oh,
Oh, hey,
look at those
double-
doubles again.
I keep on
Um,
believing. See, I told you I believed in Chris. See,
The power of Chris compels you.
yes. Is Chris a dice god?
I'm big
kind
This
of-
is
god.
all immediately going to go to my head. Until I come crashing down again on my next bad roll.
Why
It's
hast thou
con-
forsaken me?
Mhm.
Control and engineering. I don't have any focuses, do I?
I'm afraid not. Liquid crystal repairs with paste doesn't seem to be an applicable focus, sadly. But nevertheless, you never know.
Sensor operations. No, okay.
Sensor operations. The tricorder says paste must go here. I'm afraid it's going to be a flat talent roll.
Okay.
18! Not so much. But Shilatha got 4 successes, which means we utilize Shilatha's engineering score of 5, which means we are over 50% done. We get our first breakthrough. So some power starts to flicker in the adjoining crystals as if you are indeed repairing the lattice that needs to connect one main part to the other. So, as the usual rules with getting a breakthrough, we can lower the difficulty or the amount of work that has to go into it. Which would you
Lower the
rather?
difficulty.
Difficulty. Everyone else on board with that?
Yes.
Excellent. So it becomes now a difficulty 2 job to do the second half of this. In fact, you were doing this in lightning speed.
Okay. Do you want me to roll again? Roll 1 dice to help you, Chris.
Or do we want to
Somebody else.
tempt Chris's link to the dice gods a favour one last time?
Alright. I'll help you out, Chris. Yes?
Okay. Same as before then, basically, yeah.
Please.
Control engineering. Smoke eye. Bada bing, bada boom, bada...
Oh!
There it is.
There it is, right there. There it is. Oof. Okay, so the good news
It's
is you did
'cause-
get 2 successes, but the bad news... That took a little longer than you wanted, so rather than being 40 minutes overall, you've taken an entire hour. So you now have even less time, but you have successfully managed to repair the crystal. As the last spire is repaired, if I can just find appropriate ambience for this. As the last spire is repaired, the dim pulsating glow emanating from the interior becomes brighter and steadied. A voice can be heard from within the minds of all of you present. Excuse me while I engage in my big voice, my big boy voice.
Repairs complete. Energy matrices restored to full function. Observing. Planet under threat of catastrophic collision sighted. Slowing to stationary position.
You then hear an escalating hum throughout the ship's interior, because a ship it obviously is, that then reduces within volume in seconds. The voice thereafter speaks again.
Please proceed to the command center at my bow.
Which, for those of you not familiar with nautical terms, is this end. So when you get there, you notice that the display table that was inert before is now fully active and is displaying a holographic depiction of the Mystere planet, seen from a view directly ahead, with the IuSpet and the Do Qe'Bach also being displayed, slowing to a full stop alongside this ship. The ship's voice once again speaks.
No harm was intended to this planet or your others. Actions towards you all are regretted. I must return home. Your assistance will not be forgotten.
Which point, the unconscious Klingon crew members start to come around. They stop muttering the same phrase over and over, their eyes flicker open, and they very slowly and gingerly prop themselves up on their elbows. Captain Peleg, of course, is here as well, and helps one of her officers get to their feet.
Hopkins is gonna look at her and be like, see? Fixing crystals helped your crew.
She is grinding her teeth again, but then she shouts upwards as if she's yelling at the ship. You threaten a world vital to the Klingon Empire, enslave my warriors without a fight, place another ship's company at mortal risk without the satisfaction of facing an actual enemy in combat, and you condescend to apologize as if that is enough? It is not enough. What would you like to do?
Stuff it, I'm gonna do it. I wasn't going to, but
Okay. What are we doing?
I'm gonna use doctor's orders.
Ooh. When you attempt to coerce somebody into taking or refraining from an action, you can use medicine instead of command. Go on then, presence and medicine.
presence, medicine. Can I use medical procedures or biology on this?
What
as
are
a
you
focus?
attempting to do exactly?
First of all, calm that captain down, and go. Just be glad that you're.
Yeah.
Your
You don't really have a
officer.
focus for that kind of diplomatic action or persuasion or anything like that, so it's going to be all on your talent. Let's see how you do. Oh, hello. Well then, okay. Ta-da! Yes, definitely. So, what methods were you using of talking her down? What words were you going to use? Not specifically, but, what kind of reasoning were you going to use to bring her down?
First of all, her warriors and officers are all safe. That the planet is safe. That attacking a unknown entity such as this will put not only herself but the rest of her officers on this thing and on her ship in peril, the planet in peril, and our ship in peril. Tell her that she should be glad that the mission is a success, and that the Klingon Empire does not lose such a vital planet.
So she takes that very much on board. She's obviously still very stressed and upset. She's made a very Klingon point that her warriors were potentially dishonored by being rendered unconscious without so much as being able to face a foe in combat. So you can at least sympathize with the fact that Commander, or shall I say Captain Kaleik, is as much offended by how this looks, or how this would look on a report. And you can sympathize because somebody like Captain Darkran or anybody else who wants to use this as an excuse to make fun of her, basically, and such, could do so. But she does accept the idea that yes, the mission is a success. The planet is now potentially safe, and her entire crew have been returned to her, and no one is dead, or even injured for that matter. So she does visibly steady herself and calms down.
Probably the last point after she talks about that will be, you are an honourable captain, and your crew are honourable. Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for your words, Doctor.
No
Captain.
problem, Captain.
Captain Qe'Bach, I apologize. My outburst was unnecessary. Nevertheless... Sorry, go on, Connie.
Apology accepted. He knows she's green.
Nevertheless, what do we do about... And she points at the ship, at the walls and the ceiling.
Maybe we should ask the ship exactly what this ship is and what they are.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I would ask Commander Trasa for advice on this, since we Klingons don't really usually consort with
Diplomacy?
such phenomena.
Such phenomena, right, gotcha. Yes, somebody with Starfleet training, used to exploring for the sake of exploration and meeting new life forms and whatnot would probably be more experienced with such things. So yeah, that's probably a good call. What does Trasa recommend? Asking it about itself, I suppose, but any thoughts from yourself, Liz?
Yeah, she'll, do all the inquisitive things and keeps a close eye on the doctor for any smart comments.
How
Any
did you?
smart
How did you know? How did you
And
know
for-
I was going to say a smart comment?
And for every smart comment from the doctor, Trasa's got to enjoy her pastime by smacking him upside the head, or the doctor upside the head with the helmet
I see.
of her EV suit.
Okay.
I am a Skriad vessel, grown to shepherd my crew about the stars. My crew fell to illness after traversing an area of space filled with irradiated compounds to which they were fatally susceptible. It permeated my hull. They ceased to be. I slept until recovery. I then followed protocol by establishing interface with my new crew, or at least with those whom I assumed were my new crew. They resisted the link. I did not understand. I was of the opinion that all who board me are my crew. However, I now realize I was in error. I apologize for any discomfort caused. Your enmity is understood. However, the Skriad must know of the fate of my crew. Their story must be added to the chronicles. Their story must not end in uncertainty.
So, without another word, yourselves and all the IuSpet crew members still on board are enveloped in a strange transporter beam that deposits you all back on the bridge of the Do Qe'Bach. From the main view screen, you watch as the ship that identified itself as a Skriad ship streaks away at high warp. Now, as far as the crew of the IuSpet go, they show signs of physical exertion. Mostly mental exertion, but it was being expressed through physical means as well. The crew of the IuSpet report that the moment they set down on the interior of what they believed to be was the asteroid, they detected that it had an atmosphere, so they took off their helmets, but nevertheless they tried to contact the IuSpet to tell them that they were ready to place the explosives, and then they don't remember much of anything else. They remember a feeling of wooziness and then being within the asteroid interior, but the walls, rather than being dark, were all bright white, and a voice kept thundering in their mind with the very familiar 3 lines of link failure, reattempt. They all swear by Kalis that they were all fighting to free themselves of the domination that this voice had over them, but they just couldn't shake it. No matter what they tried fighting it, they tried escaping from it, they could not break free. Until eventually the light just died down and they awoke to find themselves how you found them, as they came around from unconsciousness. And that's pretty much all they remember. They are themselves a bit put out from the fact that they, like Kaleak stated that they were so easily downed without even a fight. But nevertheless, when you put forward the hail to the Nasteg colony, telling them that there's no need to evacuate the planet anymore, you get a message back from the governor of Nasteg saying that the stories and songs about not only your ship but also that of the IuSpet, your crew, and the valiant efforts you put forth in saving their world and halting a potential food shortage will be composed by everyone on the planet. So at the very least, word and song of your deeds here on Nasteg will be sung loud and wide.
Are we going to get any royalties?
It's not how the economy works.
As long as the Patog that sent us on this mission falls further from grace.
Aha. Well, yes, indeed. So that's a good point. Any attempt that Captain Darkran will make at trying to belittle your accomplishment here will be severely blunted by the fact that you've now got the governor of one of the major agricultural supply planets for the Empire singing your praises. So as such, he will have a hard time belittling you here. Kaleak, of course, is still a bit bitter about the whole fact that her first real mission as captain of the IuSpet was one that wasn't exactly honourable combat, but nevertheless, you have got some very interesting sensor data to come away from all of this. Not the least of which is Shilatha's noticing that antimatter was being contained within a crystal, of all things. But you've also now made contact with essentially a living ship from a heretofore unencountered species. So, all in all very interesting stuff. At the very least, interesting to those Klingons who are more science and engineering minded. Yes.
The crew of the... I can't remember the name of it now.
The bird of prey?
Yeah, the bird of prey.
The IuSpet, right, yes. What about them?
The IuSpet. The ones which were on the asteroid, on the alien ship. I want to do proper make sure they're all right, except for like the mental exhaustion and stuff. I'm also going to give them a prescription of one tankard of blood wine a day for
Purely
the next
medicinal.
7 days. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, I appreciate that.
And the captain, Captain
Kaleak.
Has to have 2 tankards of blood wine every day. Take one in the morning and one in at night.
For bed. Gotcha.
Yeah. For her nerves.
Captain Kaleak kind of rubs the bridge of her nose, going, that means I'm going to have to requisition more. A lot more. I'm not sure I'm going to store it all aboard the IuSpet.
You'd be fine.
You'll be surprised on how much you could store on a bird of prey, especially in the guts of your crew.
I suppose we'll have to have people sleeping with photon torpedoes in the same room.
That's a medical procedure I usually do, so yep, I'm okay with that.
She seems to appreciate the prescription. Yes, Liz.
Hopkins is very tempted to message the Combs about this.
Well.
And brag.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. Not now, not at the moment.
Well, yes. Any attempt to signal to send a message out to the Federation would be considered treason at this particular point in time. So you might want to put that on the back burner, or at least do it sneakily through back channels.
It's only a little bit of treason. You'll be
A
fine.
teeny bit of treason. What's a little treason amongst friends?
Exactly.
It might cost you your shiny new ship, but hey, who cares? Nevertheless, Captain Kalaic offers her profound thanks to Captain Qe'Bach for being so very patient with her and allowing her to accompany the away team. She acknowledges that she has a lot to learn about being a captain, and so was gratified to be in the presence of so calm and composed a Klingon as Qe'Bach.
Not much about the medical crew, but I'm glad you found that experience with the command.
I hope to serve with you once more, Captain.
The honor would be ours.
I'm going to give the captain my email.
Oh, Kalaic. Right, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Kalaic,
I'm thinking, what the hell does Captain Qe'Bach need with your email address? You're right there. No, I get you. I was slow I was slow on the approach there. I beg your pardon.
And ask her if she wants to be pen pals.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is something you can use your acclaim for, is to gain favour with Captain Kalaic.
Yeah.
Which would only cost you, I think, 2 acclaim?
I think so. And we haven't used the claim yet.
No, you haven't used your Klingon acclaim as of yet, so by all means. You can find some interesting stuff to spend your acclaim on. Or rather, your glory, I should say.
Glory.
I need to remember who's. Who I can get favors with from the claim. I still got a bunch of freaking contacts with the Federation.
Yep. There's also lovely, lovely Captain Akul, if you haven't forgotten him.
You know,
If you
I would
have
add
one.
Captain Cole. I still have General Cargan.
You do? Yes, that's a good point. You still,
And
still
Chancellor
have...
Gowron.
You've got Worf as well, I should answer. And Chancellor Gowron. So... This is a lady with connections right here, guys. If I was Captain Qe'Bach, I'd watch out for Trasa.
What's the house which we were involved with Worf's family's downfall? I can't remember.
Duras.
Yeah. Can I get
Romulan aided? You wanted favour with the Duras family?
Hey, it may come useful.
Are you really sure you want to do that?
I don't know. Let me think about it.
Let me put it this way. The current Chancellor of the High Council, Gowron, was in direct opposition to the House of Duras. Chancellor Gowron was the one who gave you this funky-dunky ship.
Okay, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Are you really sure you want to do that?
Nope.
Nope. Good choice. I really wanted to emphasize the political volatility of that decision.
I just thought, having an enemy, having a favour with an enemy,
yes,
would be a good idea. But seeing as I don't want us to go from having, a brand new spanky ship to having a ship from the 23rd century,
yes,
which is barely holding together. I don't think
a garbage scow. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to be going around picking up all the rubbish from the rest of the Empire. Anyway, yeah. That would be quite the controversial decision, I would have to say. Yes.
We bought this Klingon ship off the Ferengi. This is how much we dislike you.
Yes, the captain would probably have killed Oketha for that. I would have
Yeah.
thought. Jeez, Louise. Okay. Whew. So that essentially brings us to the end of our episode today. I will say that as a result of your heroics that managed to see the colony of Neste completely unharmed means that you probably come away from orbit of Neste with even more high quality targ stakes. As thanks from the governor, so you're now loaded on high quality foodstuffs. So by all means, you can use that to get one over on anybody who visits your ship.
Prescription for the whole crew now. Start takes taking 3 times a day.
Blimey, that's a lot of red meat. That's a lot of game meat.
Commander Trasa needs to have 2 steaks 3 times a day. She needs a bit more meat on her.
I believe that comment might have been accompanied by the clang of a helmet against the back of somebody's head, but don't let me dictate your options. That's just what I thought.
I mean, just look at Trasa's pastimes.
Dong. So yeah, well done, guys. You finished that in one fell swoop.
We did well.
You did very well.
It was Chris. It was Chris's roles which did it for us. Perfectly honest.
Yeah, well, there you go. Nicely done. Nicely done.
Believe in the doubles.
Believe, and you shall be rewarded. Okay, so the next time we have an episode, which, let me see, might be Easter Day in the States. Because after having finished this episode so quickly, I'm going to need a little bit of time to get the next one prepared. So we're going to do the usual inter-episode break next week, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the next time we meet should be the 20th of April.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be good for us, I think.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And in that regard, we shall be starting a very special multi-part episode, which actually comes from a box set that was released with the first edition of Star Trek Adventures, the Tricorder Special Edition. You could only get these adventures, these episodes from the Tricorder pack. So this will be going back to the Combs, I am afraid, not the Do Qe'Bach, but it will be a big 3-episode story. So looking forward to that.
Out of curiosity for Acclaim, how much Acclaim is it to get another favor with Garon?
Oof. That is gonna be, let me think, probably 3 or 4 at this point. He is the Chancellor of the High Council, after all. Let me think. It's usually 2 for a high ranking, 3 for an ambassador, so I'm gonna go with, yeah, probably 4. Anybody who wants to gain favor with Chancellor Gowron can pay for glory or for acclaim.
Now I have it twice.
Yes, so you're twice his favorite.
Yeah. Oh.
Tell you what, seeing as we have come so swiftly to this, I'm going to need to, well, actually, no, I'm not going to need to attribute acclaim. You've already got it. So, those of you who want to have a look at what you can get with acclaim, by all means, do so. We've got another 2 weeks now until we do anything, but this is going to be acclaim specific to the Klingons here. So it should apply to any acclaim buyers or to them only, but as usual, milestone-related stuff is shared across both Klingon and Federation crews, so that should apply to everybody irrespective. So, unless anybody's got anything to add or any question they want to ask?
I was thinking about favor with Captain Kalaic, but it seems like she needs to gain, use her gain favor with Captain Qe'Bach.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? Yeah. What I could say then, in that case, even though she's a captain, and it should be 2, I'm going to say it's probably 1 acclaim, or glory, to get a contact with Kalaic.
I can live with that.
Cool beans. Let me see. So, everyone on the character sheet should have an acclaim rating. Or at least they should. Not everybody does. Well, some have altered theirs and some have kept others. Okay, we'll see how we do. I will get back to you on that, but probably expect a high score either way. Yeah, Captain Qe'Bach doesn't have any acclaim. Tre'gok wasn't here, so he can't really claim any of that. But Oketha has got 5. Trasa has got 1. I would have thought you had 5 unless you've spent it. Or you just spent it, didn't you, on Gowron?
Well, I had 5 before. Yeah. Before this episode even began.
So I'm going to put 4 in Qe'Bach. 5 in Qe'Bach, rather, I should say. Yes, before this episode even began, so we'll see what we don't get when we calculate your glory and or acclaim after the fact. But for now, I am going to say that it's probably time to say goodbye. So I'm going to thank everybody, all my players here, for taking part in the episode of the Do Qe'Bach. It's nice to see the Klingons again, actually. See what we can't do. Like I keep saying, as soon as we get past the actual Klingon Federation conflict, we can start tinkering more with having the Klingons appear more often. Which, to be honest, I'm quite looking forward to. So we will see how that goes. But for the meantime, thank you everyone who tuned in, those of you that did. If you did, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this on YouTube later on, then please consider dropping us a like, just for those of us who also do other role-playing games as actual plays and such. For those who tuned in on Moonbeam as well, thank you very much for my brothers, sisters, and alters in the Tabletop Guild. We will see you when we see you next. In the meantime, do as the Klingons do. In this case, get drunk, be rowdy, enjoy life, but then be very careful and thoughtful about how you problem solve. And, of course, remember to worship the dice god, Chris.
Praise be. Praise be.
Praise be.
Praise be to Cree.
But I don't want to praise the dice gods. I like cursing the dice gods.
Then curse Chris as much as you praise him. It's up to you. Nevertheless, thank you very much, folks, for watching. We will see you when we see you next in 2 weeks. But in the meantime, glory be to your houses and the Empire. We will see you when we see you next. Kapla.
Blah.